life isn't yours because it is in part theirs, and they've written into you a contract, a code, something that they wanted to accomplish. They sat among themselves and decided that you would be the best person to do that. So your mission is very important in the same way that everyone's mission is important, but in your case it's important also on the personal level because it is tied to the evolution of your bloodline. Usually when these guys are brought out, it's because everything else has failed, and that's why they have some of the worst lives, because they keep re-meeting the same people and those people are not getting better, they just keep getting worse. For those of you who are interested in this whole idea of like ancestors, karma, and you know what our bloodline carries, which I can tell a lot about that from your astrology natal chart, whether or not you're part of these 3 zodiac signs that are mentioned or not. But I would encourage you to get a reading so you can get into some of that, for those of you who are curious about it. It's a link in bio for you to schedule a reading. I have a feeling that if I was to sit down with you and look at your chart, I would have so much more to say because I'm very good at picking up patterns. I have a Virgo Mars. So in terms of being able to like notice patterns, anything that veers from the norm, I'm probably the most equipped person to do that. And the other advantage that you have if you were to meet with me is that I am also a karmic. I have a lot of karmic energy in my chart. You know, I have it all the way from the top to the bottom. So there is, and that's probably why I have a personal affinity for karmics, because I know what it takes to be a karmic. I know the suffering that is involved to be able to play that role. I know that the spiritual protection comes with the challenges of living a more challenging life than others. So a reading will be able to tell me where you are with your Saturn transit, who is your ruling planet, if you happen to have it at the rising. But if you're Capricorn Sun, Moon, or Rising, or Aquarius Sun, Moon, or Rising, you should always have a sense of your Saturn transit, where it is at, and that will help give you some guidance, because Saturn is all about restriction. In other words, what are your obligations? What are your responsibilities? What are you supposed to be doing? And this is why they have such harsh lives, because everything is taught via punishment. Because Saturn just teaches and punishes. There's no like middle ground. There's no, you tried your best. It's either you did or you didn't do it. And if you didn't figure it out, then you didn't do it. And you get punished because you were taught it. The reason why many people avoid healing is because in order to heal, we have to first get the pus out. You know, if you have an old wound that's been affected, and if it's been affected at the roots, which is what happens with the karmics, what happens with the karmics is that what you were sent here are things that they weren't able to finish. So your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your great-great-grandmother have a story to tell you about what they've been through. Same with your paternal side. And there's some things that transpired before that they weren't able to figure out so they could evolve, because everybody, don't ever let anyone trick you into believing anything else. But this is the story. We're all in hell. There's no other hell. This is hell. And we're here to get out of hell, okay? To get out of hell, we have to elevate our energy from dark to light. And as we get cleaner energetically, spiritually, with our intentions and our actions, we vibrate at a higher frequency and we can rise above. We go higher, closer to God, closer to the heavens. You know, we are all one force, but everybody is not at the same level. It's like a triangle, you know, which is for us fire signs. If you're interested, this is about alchemy. Everybody is alchemizing their energy at different levels. Alchemizing your energy means being able to balance out your energy between positive and negative, because you need both to manifest. People who cannot manifest are people who are not able to transform their energy, transmute their energy, take the fire energy, put it to the water energy if needed. This is why we all have all the zodiac signs. It's because we all have fire, air, you know, water, earth in our charts. But based on the situation you're dealing with, you need the right energy. If you and I restaurant as an example and I cut in front of you, and let's say I was preoccupied with something, you know, I'm going through a lot in my life, a lot of things are bothering me, you know, you guys know I just lost my mother-in-law, so I'm not really like in the best mind state during this time because it hasn't been that long. So let's say I'm like, my mind is like thinking and I'm far away place I'm not noticing, and I cut in front of this person. Depending on how balanced my energy is, there's going to be all sorts of different reactions, right? That we're going to have to that move from somebody else. Let's say you're the person in line. The person comes and cuts in front of you. I'm that person. Depending on what's going on with you and how well you're able to stay stable and manage what's going on so your energy is stable, you might threaten to harm me. You might gently let me know you're there. You might whisper it. You might yell it. But depending on how mentally, emotionally, energetically stable, it's going to look different. Somebody might even assume you're trying to fight them. Depending on like how damaged they are at that moment energetically, they might think that you're actually purposely trying to jump in front of them because you want to fight them. And the whole time you weren't even thinking about them or looking at them. And you didn't even care about them because you didn't notice them. Having balanced energy means that the reaction that we give to situations are also balanced. Balanced energy creates balanced behavior. When you're karmic, your energy is very unbalanced because your ancestors have struggled with a lot of things that have not been able to overcome. And this is why these three have some of the worst childhoods in all of astrology. So Santiago, for fear of sending you down the wrong path, because your purpose in this universe is so intentional, I would much rather speak about it with you in person. But I hope that some of the feedback that I've given you is something you can use for your situation, even if you're not ready to speak face to face. But your purpose in this universe is way more, you're vibrating at a higher level in terms of what your calling is. How well you're doing that, I don't know you, we've just met. But if you're vibrating closer to the tip here with your energy, you know, you're going to be handling those challenges well. But if you're not, you're going to be falling back into those same cycles that your ancestors have been reliving for the past thousands of years.